Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review slash showcase. And today we're taking a look at something that I'm super hyped up about. What we have is the brand new NottaToys Enveloped Yaomo 3-pack. And I don't have a whole lot of NottaToys figures, but the ones that I do have, I'm absolutely in love with. They're some of the best figures that I own, and that would be the James figures that they put out last year. I have reviews for them on my channel. Be sure to check those out. But those figures are next level. They are incredible. So when I started to see pictures of this set floating around, I was instantly interested because I knew the figures were going to be incredible and the designs look dope. So these are based on an original design by NottaToys. And I think they have something really dope on their hands. Huge thank you to the folks over at NottaToys for sending this out to me to review. I started to talk to one of the designers and he offered to send this to me to take a look at. And I'm extremely grateful because this set looks incredible. But let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. As you can see, we have some really dope looking artwork, a couple of like stickers, the brand down here, and then, you know, some lettering right here. Obviously I don't know what that says, but it looks really dope. And then on the back of the box we get a look at the characters, and oh my god, they look incredible. And then we have some other text over here. You know, you'd have to translate that if you want to see what it says, but it all looks very nice, and I love the designs of these characters. They look so cool. Let's take a closer look at that. Yeah, they look so badass. But enough about the box. Let's go ahead and get right into this because there is a whole lot to talk about with these figures. Alright, so before we get these guys completely out of their packaging, I wanted to give you a look at what I saw as soon as I pulled this out of the box. It's like overwhelming. Look at the amount of accessories that these guys come with. It is absolutely insane. There's like 2 trays in here. The front tray has all the hands and the figures themselves, and then the back tray just has all kinds of stuff. And then another thing that I was really excited about is the fact that this actually came with a comic book, so we could get some information about the characters, and that is so dope. That's one thing that a lot of companies that come out with original characters kind of neglect. You know, they put out these cool looking figures, but no lore to go along with them. But that's not the case here. I'm very excited to read this and super excited to play with these toys. But yeah, let's get them out of their trays. All right, so here we have these 3 amazing figures right out of the packaging. On the left here, we have Yan. In the middle, we have Wukong. And over here, we have Nura. That's their names. Thankfully, they came with some instructions for the accessories that also have biographies on the back. And these accessory instructions were very helpful because as I took these figures out of the box, I was overwhelmed by how many accessories there were. There was just so many little things, and I found out that a lot of those little things actually go onto the figures, and it's like part of their designs. So once I did that, it was a lot more digestible. But anyways, holy shit, these figures are absolutely incredible. All 3 of these are insane. And I'm going to take a look at them individually, but I just wanted to give you guys my initial out-of-the-box thoughts. Man, I cannot believe how awesome these are. Every single one of them is amazing. They did such a great job with these, and I'm not really surprised because of how good those James figures were. But yeah, man, I'm really, really impressed with these. But let's go ahead and take a look at them individually, starting off with Wukong. All right, so here we have Wukong, and man, I love the design of this character. He looks the least human out of the 3. He does have like a monkey type of vibe, but he does have human-like characteristics too. It's not like a straight-up monkey. Like the face looks like a human and a monkey at the same time. It's really bizarre, but very cool. And I love the soft goods on him too. And I like how they're kind of torn up. It makes it look like he's a little bit more wild and kind of crazy. The guys in the back are all cleaned up and look good, but he looks like he gets in there and gets crazy with it because his clothes is dirty and ripped up and he just looks wild, you know? So that is super cool. I love the way the soft goods look. As far as I can tell, the bodies on these 3 figures are very similar to each other, but Wukong is slightly different. The arms look like they have a little bit more sculpted hair, and he's actually missing a piece of articulation that the other figures have. So that's kind of unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. And you can remove a lot of this stuff. The scarf could come off. These things could come off. And in the promo images, it is shown that you could remove the shirts from these figures. And that is cool and everything, but I really don't want to do that because I don't think that I'll be able to put him back together as nicely as he is right now. And honestly, I think they look a lot better with the clothing. But yeah, man, this is such a good looking figure. I love so much about what we have going on here. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on him, because the head sculpts on this figure and the other figures are some of the best head sculpts that you'll ever see in 1/12 scale. And the sculpting work on Wukong is nothing short of amazing. Check out this ridiculous looking head sculpt. Man, this is so impressive. I love everything about this thing here. The skin tone looks nice. I love the design. The details are incredible. But the best thing about this is the eyes. These have to be some of the best eyes I've ever seen in 1/12 scale. I love how they have that wet reflective look. It looks so lifelike, man. That is crazy. And then as you can see, he does have that crown on his head. And then his hair looks really good too. You can see all kinds of different colors in there. And then it covers his ear. So that looks really good. But man, the standout thing about this head sculpt is definitely the eyes. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. And then moving down into the body, you can see that the chest does have some sculpted hair on there. Just a little bit though, not a whole lot. And same thing with the arms. They tried to put a little bit of arm hair effect on there, which I think is unacceptable. Arm hair. No one ever wants to see arm hair, right? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that looks pretty good. The clothing looks really good too. I like how it's all dirty. And yeah, he definitely looks like he gets a little crazy. And then he does have these beads, which are removable, obviously. But those look really good. And on the back, he does have like some more dirty spots and stuff. So yeah, that all looks really good. And then around the waist, he has this like tiger stripe design on that. Got a little rope. The pants look really good too. They're all torn up as well. And then at the lower legs, he has his feet wrapped. And then you could tell that his toes are very not human, you know. But yeah, man, this is such a beautiful looking figure. I love the design, and the details are just out of this world, especially this head sculpt. Crazy stuff. And then for accessories, Wukong does have a bunch of really great stuff, starting off with some of the things that we see here. As you can see, he does have a banana. In fact, he has two bananas, and those look really good, very well sculpted, and he has no problem holding them. And then he does have this really cool monkey face mask that kind of has a metallic faceplate with a little bit of red going on and some hair coming out from the top of the head and around the face. And what I like about this is that it has an elastic band, so it's very easy to remove from the figure. And when it's on his head, it sits on there very securely. So that is a really dope mask. And then he does come with some weapons. As you can see, we have this staff. And this thing is incredibly well sculpted. There's so much detail in the handles. It's crazy. And he does come with 3 of those. Here's the first one, which is just like a standard, you know, normal looking staff. And then he does have this that kind of has a slight bow to it, so you can make it look like he's swinging it or something. So that is such a cool little thing to include. And then it does have these swinging effects that you can remove, or you could just slide onto the handle. And then for the third staff, he has like a powered up one that's made out of like translucent orange plastic. And this matches something else that we'll see in just a second. But yeah, I like having all these different options just for the staff. That's pretty crazy. And Wukong's alternate head sculpt is just as awesome as the previous head sculpt, but in a much different way. As you could see, he looks mad as hell. It looks like he's ready to rip someone apart. This is freaking awesome. I love the red eyes. And then he does have that wet look in his mouth and on the tongue and stuff. That looks really cool. But yeah, this is a crazy looking head sculpt and so much different than the other one. He looks all peaceful on his regular head sculpts, but with this, it looks like he's a straight up killer. This is crazy. Ooh, and then check this out. Something that's really dope about these figures is that all 3 of them come with parts that you could swap on that kind of convey what their powers are. So for Wukong, he does come with these really big monkey arms. And these are awesome, man. They did such a great job sculpting these. There's some really nice paint detail in there, and they just look really, really good. And the way that you swap them on is that you just remove the regular arm at the lower part of the elbow. You can just pop that off, then you pop these things on, and they look really cool. But there's no type of articulation in them, so you can't really rotate them at all. If you want to rotate them, you kind of have to do it at the bicep. So they are limited, but you know, they kind of make up for it in the way they look, because these are really, really cool. And then Wukong actually has another power that he could display. We have this big translucent orange arm that could be popped on. And this is really cool. It goes along very well with the translucent staff that he has. And yeah, this guy apparently has a bunch of cool powers. But look at that, man. That is really dope. And this has like a smooth kind of look. It just looks like energy, you know? So yeah, Wukong is a really, really dope figure with some awesome soft goods, some beautiful sculpting work, some insane accessories, some awesome things that you could put on there to show different powers. And overall, it's an amazing figure and a whole lot of fun. And then next up, we have Nura or Nura, or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but this guy is just as impressive as Wukong back there. I love the way he looks. He does have like a Ronin or samurai kind of vibe. I love the soft goods on him too. I like that there's a lot of variation of color in there. Like the shirt isn't just like a solid red color. There's some like darker spots, and then same thing with the pants. It looks very nice. And yeah, look at this thing, man. I really love this. It's extremely well sculpted. I don't know what this is called. You'll have to forgive me. There's a lot of things that come with these figures that I don't know what the names are, so just bear with me. But this looks incredible, extremely well sculpted, very realistic, and it matches the hat really well. And I do love the way the hat looks too, man. And the hat is removable, obviously, and it does have like an elastic band that helps it sit on the head. And the details on Nura are just as good as the other two figures, but I would say that I probably like the design of him the least out of the three. But as far as the execution goes, they did a great job with everything. This face sculpt looks really, really nice. Once again, we have those reflective eyes that just look super lifelike, you know. He does have some facial hair that looks good. Yeah, this is a great looking head sculpt for sure. The hair looks nice too, and then we do have that piece in the back that is interchangeable. But yeah, I like this head sculpt quite a bit, just not as much as the other two. Then moving down into the body, I don't know exactly what this thing is called or what it would be made of in real life, but I assume it would be made of wood. And if that's the case, this is amazing because this looks like actual wood. It's extremely well sculpted and painted and just looks very realistic. And then he does have this necklace, this gem necklace thing. I think it was a necklace. It was very hard to get onto him. I actually had to remove the neck and then put it on there. But it looks cool. And I like the color of his robe quite a bit. It's like a deep red, and then there are some like areas that look like almost like stained black. Looks very cool. Then he does have this thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but I like that it's in there, and it just kind of accents the entire look quite a bit. Just adds a little bit to it. And then the belt here in front looks kind of dirty and stained up, just like the top of the robe. But yeah, this looks amazing. And then he does have the big old pants. Oh, look at that. It's all dirty at the bottom, like he's been fighting a little bit. Very nice. And then he has some blue socks with the sandals. But yeah, this is a really, really great looking figure. And then for accessories, he does come with some really great stuff, including a few more swords. And I just noticed this on this one. This actually has a metal blade. What the hell? That is insane. That is super dope. And then he does come with like a energized version of this that kind of goes with his alternate form. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. He does have another like power sword that kind of looks like ice or something. Really cool. And as you can see, he does have a mask, which is removable. And this is really, really dope. Fits on there nicely. I love the color. How it's mostly black, but then it has some red highlights. And then it is removable, just like the monkey face mask. It just has like an elastic band. And then he does have interchangeable hair, so you could go ahead and pull this off. And then you could stick this in there. You have to kind of find the way that it fits in there, because it is kind of like a L shape, and you just have to kind of line up the L. There we go. Yeah, so you could fit that in there if you want to give him a different hairstyle, something that looks a little bit more crazy and dynamic. Like if you have him in a kind of like a fighting pose or something, this hair seems like it would help sell that dynamic look. So and then for his alternate form, along with this crazy looking head sculpt, he also comes with an ice arm that plugs on the same way as the monkey arms. It goes really great with the ice sword that he comes with. And just like the monkey arms, there's no articulation in this. So if you want to spin it, you have to do it from the bicep. But yeah, this looks really, really cool. And this guy here, when you put on his other parts and take off whatever this thing is, it makes it look like a completely new figure. This looks like a different character almost. So yeah, that is awesome. So after messing with it for a little bit, it turns out that it's actually pretty easy to get the jacket off of Nura. I was trying to get it off of Wukong as well, but I couldn't figure it out. I was messing with it a little bit and things were kind of shifting around in a way that I didn't really like. So I stopped messing with it and just put it back how he was. And I didn't even try with Yan because he's put together so well. I just don't want to mess with it. But with this guy, it was actually really simple. You just have to pull the pants down a little bit. And then the jacket has a button that you just unfasten. And then you remove the hands or whatever you have to do. And then you could just slip the jacket or the shirt right off. And you could put it back on very easily. And it goes back into place the way it's supposed to be. It's not all that complex, So that's really nice to see, and that's a cool option to have for this character. He does look kind of creepy like that. As you could see, the body is very skinny, and it does look much better with the clothing on it, but you could definitely get some use out of this. These are crazy looking bodies for sure. So yeah, Nura is a really, really dope figure. I love the samurai look. And I really like the accessories that he comes with, especially the metal sword. And that's something that we don't really see too often. I also really like the interchangeable parts because it makes the figure feel completely different from when you first take it out of the box. And that is always a lot of fun. And then last but not least, we have Yan. And you know what? This one just might be my favorite out of the bunch. All three of them are absolutely incredible, but I'm kind of surprised that he turned out to be my favorite. I kind of thought that I would lean a little towards Wukong, and that's an amazing figure. As soon as I took him out of the box, I was completely in love with it. But then when I took this guy out, I was just blown away by how good he looks. The head sculpt is one of the best realistic looking head sculpts I've ever seen in 1/12 scale. And when I started to put all the accessories on him, that's kind of what took him over the edge for me because all these things just look really, really nice. There's a lot of good stuff going on. But the main thing I love about it is that face sculpt. It is extremely well done. And I like the design of the suit too. There's some really good things going on. I like the different colors. I like how they match with each other. It looks really, really good. He does have a bendy wire in this part and also in the back. So that, you could kind of pose that around for some dynamic movement. He does have a hat and removable hair. So you could remove the hair and pull the hat over his head. And you also have this lock of hair that you could remove. And he comes with another piece of hair, but it's hard to get in there. I'll take a picture of it in just a second. But yeah, man, look at that. This is such a beautiful figure with a really cool design and lots of cool little things on his design here, like the necklace, this thing here. I think it's called what's it called? A calabash or something like that. Calabish, it says on here. Calabish, I think. I don't know. But yeah, these kind of things hanging from his belt just look really cool. And we've got the sword on this side. Yeah, this thing is dope, man. I love the way that he looks. Yan does have a much simpler design compared to something like Wukong, but the details on the face sculpt are just as impressive. Check this out. Man, look how realistic that looks. Again, doing something this lifelike in this scale is just so impressive. But look at that. Look at the detail and the skin tones and just everything about this face sculpt is perfect, man. The eyes look good. They have that watery look too, but it's kind of harder to see on him than it is on Wukong, but it still looks really, really good. But man, damn, look at that shit, man. So realistic. That is crazy stuff. The hair looks really good too. Not a whole lot going on in the hair. It's just black, but he does have that hair tie up there and got the lock of hair coming down on the front, which looks good. But man, look at that face sculpt. So hard not to get distracted by these awesome looking face sculpts. They're just so well done. But moving down into the body, he does have a lot of things on him that, I've seen before. Like, they feel familiar, but I just don't know what the names of all these different things on his design are exactly. Like, he does have this necklace. And you've got the yin and the yang on there. That looks really good, but check out the details on it. I know there's an official name for this thing. I just don't know what it is. Feel free to let me know in the comments what any of these things are called. But yeah, look at that, man. That looks really good. And it just goes around his neck on a string, as you could see. And then I love the look of his robe as well. Look at that, man. That looks awesome. Love the color. It's a very unique color, you know. And then he does have these things that you're able to hang on to his belt with the little rope there. And let's kind of get these out of the way. There we go. Yeah, those look really good. Again, I'm not sure what the names of these things are, so feel free to let me know in the comments. And then I love how you could put his sword into his belt too. And look at this sword, man. Look at the details on this. The sheathing looks like actual wood. Damn, look, man, so crazy. Let's see if we can get the blade out, because the blade is really nice. It's in there really securely. We've got another metal blade. I love that. Metal blades, that's really unique. But that's a really good looking sword sheath. And then he does have wraps around the forearms that look really good, very well sculpted. The pants are a darker brown, and then on the lower legs, he has some wraps, and then on his feet, he has some shoes that all have some really good details. And I love the color combination here, you know, it all looks really good. But man, such a great looking figure all the way around. Everything about this guy is just awesome. And for Yan's alternate form, he comes with a variety of different fire effects, including a head sculpt that has fire coming out from the top of the head and coming out from the eyes. How awesome is that? And I love the way the fire effect looks on the head, how it goes from like different shades of orange and red, and it's like translucent plastic. It looks amazing. Imagine like hitting that with some light. If you're trying to take a picture, you could really make it look like it's actually on fire. And the details on this head sculpt, just like the standard head sculpt, are very well done. And then here's a look at some of the fire weapons that he has. This is really dope. And then it's cool how you could see some like lettering in there. I don't know what it says, but it looks very cool. And I like the way that fire blade looks. And then the details on the sword itself are really, really well done. And same thing with this one too. And I like how the blade is kind of a different style. I mean, it's the same style, but it's like a different shape, you know? So the weapons don't look exactly alike. But yeah, look at that, man. His alternate form is crazy. But I really love this head sculpt with the fire and stuff. I think this is really going to photograph well, I think. And then he comes with this really cool card throwing fire effect. As you could see, it just goes right onto his fingers. So that's a really cool way to do that. And it stays on there very nice. And it looks really, really dope. And then not only does he have that, but he also comes with a single flaming card. And that looks really nice. And then he also has 3 cards that are not flaming. So it's cool to have like these cards in, you know, so many different ways. So you have a lot of options to do different things with them. So yeah, even though all 3 of these figures are amazing, I think that Yan is going to go down as my favorite. I just love the way he looks. I love the design. I like all these things that he has on him. And that face sculpt is just incredible. So all around, this is a really, really great figure. And, you know, in a set filled with great figures, this guy definitely stands out in my opinion. So, yeah, I like him quite a bit. In addition to the accessories that we've already talked about, they do come with some random things like these rice balls and then that jug of milk. And there might be something else that I'm overlooking, but there's just so many accessories in here. It's almost overwhelming. I kind of feel like I may have missed something. So if I did, I apologize. And not only do they come with all this stuff that we've already discussed, they do come with an insane amount of hands. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through each set of hands. But just so you know, these guys come with almost every type of hand that you'd want for these type of characters. Fists, open hands, martial arts hands, gripping hands, all kinds of good stuff. There's probably like 20 sets of hands in this set. It's crazy. So yeah, I didn't want to take an hour just talking about the hands. But just know that this set has pretty much every type of hand that you'd want for these type of characters. And now for some quick size comparisons. Here we have the whole crew alongside one of the 6" plus 5K Red Ninjas and the Mezco 112 Collective Gomez Ninja. I'm not 100% sure exactly what this figure is called, but obviously it does have a diabolic head on there. So as you could see, the NottaToys figures size up with Mezco pretty well, and they look really good next to that 5K Ninja. I kind of want to get some more of those to have them face off with these guys. But yeah, I think these type of characters would work really well together. And then next up, we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Lone Roach Gomez and the Mezco 112 Collective Atticus Doom. And we've really got to show a lot of respect to Mezco because they paved the way for figures like this, you know. 112 scale with a bunch of soft goods that are extremely well done. For a long time, Mezco was like the only ones who were doing that. But after they started to come out with their stuff, lots of other companies started to do the same type of thing. And in my opinion, some of these companies have started to do them better. There's a lot of third-party companies that have given us amazing figures with better soft goods than we've seen on Mezco. And then stuff like these NottaToys figures, in my opinion, these three figures have some of the best soft goods I've ever seen in 112 scale. And a lot of that has to do with the style, you know. They're able to fit loosely and it just works for the characters. But man, these are extremely well executed. And in my opinion, they've kind of surpassed Mezco in the soft goods department in terms of quality and just making things fit properly. And then here we have them alongside the NottaToys James figures. And as you can see, these are some of the most lifelike 112 scale figures that you'll ever see. These things are absolutely mind-blowing how realistic they look at this scale. They look like Hot Toys. I know people kind of throw that around to kind of say that something is good quality, but honestly, the head sculpts on these guys look just as good as any Hot Toys figure that you could find. And then next up, we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Iron Fist and the G.I. Joe Classified Storm Shadow. And then next, we have them alongside the Fury Toys Spring, aka 5K Leo. And on the opposite side, we have the NECA Animated Turtles Master Splinter. And you might be able to do something cool with this concept. And then next up, we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Ronin Logan and the brand new Marvel Legends 3-pack Daredevil. And then most importantly, here we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And the articulation on these figures is really nice. The body underneath the clothing does have a lot of points of articulation and they are a whole lot of fun to play with. And all three of these pretty much have the exact same articulation. So we're going to use Yan as our example. The only exception is that Wukong over here does not have the lower neck joint like the other two figures have. I'm assuming that they left that out because, you know, the upper part of his chest is kind of exposed and maybe they didn't want that joint in there. So that's totally understandable. But being that he's like a monkey type of character, I think I would have preferred to have that extra joint to get some more posability out of it, you know. But as it is right now, this figure is a whole lot of fun to play with and there's a lot of good stuff you could do with it. He's just missing that one joint. But the other two figures have the exact same bodies. And yeah, there's a lot of great articulation on here. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. So he does have a joint at the upper neck and the lower neck. So using both of those, you could get his head to tilt to the side a really good amount. He could look side to side, obviously. He could look up to about right there, which is pretty nice. And then he could look down to right there. I do wish that the lower neck got a little bit more movement, but that's still a pretty good amount. And then for the torso, we have a really nice setup. We have a diaphragm cut and then a ball joint at the waist. Using both of those, he could crunch forward a really good amount. Check that out. And obviously the range is going to vary from figure to figure depending on the soft goods and the amount of accessories that you have on them. But like this, he's able to get forward a really good amount. And then he could go back to about right there. So not a whole lot going back, but still pretty decent. And then you can go side to side with it, which is nice. And you can also swivel on the waist joint. You could kind of swivel on the diaphragm cut too, but you're going to get most of your swivel from the waist. And then for the arms, he does have these awesome butterfly joints. You could get his arm to go back a really good amount. Check that out. That is awesome. And you could also get his arms in front of him a really good amount for those awesome punching poses. Yeah, so that's nice. And then the diaphragm could help you out a little bit. Boom. Yeah, so that looks really good. I like how this arm comes back this much, you know. The butterfly joints that they have are really nice on these figures. Look at that. Get him into like a boxing pose. So really good stuff at the shoulders. And then he does have a ball joint on the shoulder as well. So you could get his arm to come up to about right there. But obviously his clothes are going to hinder that just a little bit. but you could still get both of his arms up a really good amount without risking damage to the material. So that's good. And then you can bring him out to the side to about right there, which is really nice. He does have an upper bicep swivel, and then we get a really nice double jointed elbow. Check this out. Boom. Look at that. That is awesome. I love that. Really good range on his elbows. And then at the wrist, we do have a ball joint that has a hinge, and you could swivel on the ball joint itself or swivel on the hand. So you could do whatever you need to do down here. And then for the legs, he gets some really good movement. Check this out. He could kick forward. Damn, he could kick forward a really good amount. Look at that. That's pretty crazy. Can go back only to about right there, so you can't really bring it back all that much. But look how far he could kick to the side, though, wearing pants. That's insane. I know the pants are loose, but still. Look at that. Boom, you can get his kick way up there. That is crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And then he does have an upper thigh swivel. And then he has really nice double jointed knees. Boom. Look at that. Damn, this guy, yeah, these things are really posable. And then at the lower leg, he does have a ball joint at the ankle. So we have swivel there. You could kind of rock on there, bring it forward to there, bring it up to right there. And, you know, that's about it. But yeah, man, there's a whole lot of articulation on these guys. And it's crazy because they look so damn good, but you're able to pose them a really good amount. You could get them in all kinds of crazy poses. And yeah, man, these things are incredible. I have no real complaints about the articulation. Other than, I do wish they gave Wukong that lower neck joint. But aside from that, I think the articulation on these guys is pretty damn, almost perfect. I mean, some joints can benefit from like a little bit more range or something, but I think for the most part, these have about as much articulation as you'd want on these type of characters. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, this set is absolutely incredible. They did such a great job with this. Each one of these figures is a goddamn piece of art. I just can't get over how good each one of these figures look. And not only do they look amazing, they're also a whole lot of fun to play with. These bodies are extremely posable. You can mess around with them without worrying about damaging the soft goods. Just everything is so well executed with each one of these figures. I'm kind of blown away by how good these guys turned out. The accessories are absolutely ridiculous. Each one of these figures comes with all kinds of crazy stuff, different hands, different weapons, different heads, and then they come with accessories that show off their powers. How awesome is that? Man, I just freaking love what's going on here. So yeah, these things are really in a league of their own. I do have the NottaToys James figures, and those are really nice too, but you know, they're kind of based on something, so they're kind of restricted to the design that they were kind of going for, right? They're trying to make like Logan figures, and they killed it. Those things are perfect Logan figures. But these guys are original designs, and they just kind of went crazy with everything. It's really cool to see like the amount of imagination and creativity that went into these figures, because it really paid off. The character designs are incredible. I love the way that each one of these characters look, even before I knew anything about them. And then another thing that's dope about this set is they included a comic book to inform us about these characters. So when I took these guys out of the box, I was like, oh yeah, these are cool. But then when I read the comic, I was like, oh man, I kind of have a connection with these guys. There's not a whole lot going on in the comic, but it's enough to give you some information about each one of these characters, and each one of them is interesting, and I can't wait to read more about them in the comics. Hopefully they keep that going. But yeah, man, these things are just absolutely ridiculous. It's kind of hard to come up with good words to describe how insane this set is, you know? Everything about it is super impressive. I just love every single one of these figures. On their own, they would have been awesome. You know, if you just bought one of these individually, I'm sure that you would really love it. But having the whole set and getting all the accessories and the comic and all that, it's just a really fun experience, you know? But damn, they killed it. And I love the fact that they made them available individually, you know, because if you don't want to buy this set, which is pretty expensive, you could just go buy one of these figures if you want. And honestly, I would have a hard time just picking one of these to recommend to somebody because all three of them are amazing. I would say that Yan is probably my favorite, but Wukong is awesome. And then this guy over here, Nura, I kind of thought that he would be like the weak link for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but he's just as good as these other guys. So man, yeah, like I said, they killed it, and this set is just so impressive. I love everything that we have going on here. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Huge thank you to the folks over at NottaToys for sending these out to me to review. I'm so grateful that you let me take a look at these figures because these things are just, they're so special, you know. It was really a good experience playing with these figures, checking out the comic and all that good stuff. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I do go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and every Friday at 7 p.m. and most Sundays at 10 a.m. to talk strictly about comics. So come through for all those lives. Let's have some fun talking about comics and toys and getting weird. Thank you very much. Peace.